In Alberta's ranchland, prices at the Innisfail cattle auction are way up.
2.5, sold internet 6,200.
They've never been better. This cattle thing is on the move.
Danny Daines is part of the family-owned auction business established here in 1955. What do you think about all this talk about Alberta becoming a separate country?
Oh boy, now you got me on the spot here. I'm just kind of into the cattle thing here. I want Canada to stay together. True blue Canadian, our family. It means everything to be Canadian.
Boy, here's big cows.
But the whiff of separation from Canada is being whipped up across rural Alberta. Referendum to stay in Canada or leave.
You're a proud Westerner.
Yes, I am. Proud Albertan.
I see that.
There is a sense that nothing's ever going to change.
Tim Hoven, a farmer and formerly part of Take Back Alberta, says the last election was one too many disappointments.
The voting bloc that is Canada is Toronto, Montreal, and Ottawa. Whoever is in favor there is going to form the government. So to have any pro-Western government in Ottawa isn't going to happen because they have to appease to those Eastern voters. And I think people have finally realized for us to move forward, for us to have a better future, we might as well act on that and actually get out.
Alberta Conservatives were once sure they'd win the election, that Pierre Poilievre would easily topple a decade of Liberal left policies. When he didn't, and with the prospect of more Liberal governance, something popped. In cattle country, decades of resentments towards Eastern Canada resurfaced. With the help of Alberta's Premier, Danielle Smith.
The federal government has taken hostile actions against Alberta and against the Constitution and against our right to develop our resources.
Announcing the day after the election, she'd loosen the rules, making it easier for groups like the Alberta Prosperity Project to gather support for a petition and potentially a referendum.
The East voted. Unfortunately, they voted for more law-breaking, more Western oppression. Well, now it's our turn. And at the end of the day, with this gift that Danielle Smith has given us, I think that we have an opportunity.
At an information meeting in Brooks, Alberta, 150 people are soaking up the sovereignty pitch and being urged to sign a future petition. More meetings are planned this summer.
We would be completely out from under all federal regulation and all federal taxation.
Outside, the pushback.
The separatists are having a meeting inside the building, and we are demonstrating against separatism.
Do you think the movement is gaining strength here in Alberta to separate?
Not really. It's been around for years. No, they're like a bunch of little toddlers that are wanting to run away from home because they can't get their own way. But they have no plans when they leave.
Western alienation is kind of bred in the bone in the prairies, fueled by a long-standing belief that equalization payments only go in one direction, and that Ottawa's heavy regulatory hand stifles the province's economy. In Edmonton, a new political party is starting from the ground up. Cam Davies quit the provincial United Conservative Party to launch Alberta Republicans.
We are a different mindset, how we perceive life, independence, freedoms. And it's not that the East doesn't understand us, it's that they simply don't care. We exist solely as a colony, a resource colony, if you will, for Ottawa.
Plans are to run candidates in 3 provincial by-elections, but there's a long way to go.
So, it's not my first rodeo at this. I was an early member of the Wild Rose Party, and we built the party from 0 to forming 17 seats in 2012.
At a round of door knocking, there is interest, but perhaps confusion over what the Alberta Republican Party is.
Hey, sir, how are you? Good. Have you heard of the Alberta Republican Party? Yeah. You have? Yeah. Really? Yeah. Do you think Alberta should be separate from Canada? We'd be better off alone?
I believe we need to stay with Canada.
Okay.
A recent poll from Angus Reid shows a broad majority of Albertans would vote to stay in Canada, 60%. Those who would vote to leave or are leaning that way tops out at 36%. In Wainwright, at the first of the summer's charity barbecues, cheeseburgers are hot and politics just as spicy.
Thank you. Perfect. Thank you, guys.
Like most Albertans, I feel like we've just supported the rest of the country long enough. Now it's time to look after ourselves.
I think it's a good idea. Yeah, I'm a redneck, so yeah, I think it's a good idea. I think it's economically good. We'll have control of our own pipelines and make our own decisions instead of being puppets to Ottawa.
But for others, separation is all sizzle, no beef.
I honestly don't think you'll get even close to the majority vote to separate in Alberta. There's lots of talk, but I don't think it'll happen.
The feeling of being ripped off is a very strong feeling, a very strong emotion.
The mayor, Bruce Pugh, warns it can accelerate.
I just don't want the sleeping masses to wake up one morning and say, like, holy smokes, this is real. This is happening.
A large investor in Wainwright is the Canadian military, and the mayor is worried about the economic consequences of even talking about separation.
How is that going to impact investment in our province? I think if you ask some Quebecers who are not strong sovereigntists, how did that affect Montreal's downtown? How did it benefit Toronto? You know, our view, very strong, very important, but it's not the only view.
Alberta is leaning into a summer of heightened politics, even as Pierre Poilievre campaigns for a federal seat here in the riding of Battle River Crowfoot. Patience is running thin. Jason Wilson, a 28-year-old rancher, hears it from all sides.
My neighbors are done. They don't think it's worth it. I think there's a lot of emotion right now too.
Do you think we will see a referendum on independence in the next 12 to 18 months?
I wouldn't be surprised.
Wilson's family came here in 1887. He's sixth generation on this land an hour east of Calgary, raising cattle and farming.
That's why I'm so pro-Alberta, and Albertan first, I would say, is because of the legacy that was passed on to him.
There are ways, he believes, that the new federal government can negotiate with Albertans before a test of national unity.
I think we owe it to those generations to try to salvage as much of Canada as possible. And that's why I think I can't look at that option of leaving Canada until I've exhausted all other options.
Many Albertans hope they won't have to make a choice.